I made this thumbnail in like 5 minutes and it's really funny. Now I have to make the video. My relationship with the Pokemon series is weird. First off, I'm only familiar with the first generation, and second off, what the fuck is this shit? I've never actually played the series that much. The most I've played is Lucario and Brawl. Does that count? I think I played a little bit of Black and White, that weird spinoff where you draw on the screen or something, and Pokemon TV, and I know for a fact that does not count. I'm just not really a fan of Pokemon games. Yes, I'm not an RPG guy, Scott the Woz Christmas. So then what the fuck am I doing here? You probably already clicked off. Well, I was a fan of the Pokemon anime in like 2012. Look, I'm qualified to talk about this. I don't really have nostalgia for the Pokemon franchise, but just the first 2 seasons of the anime, some of the movies, and the Pokemon community on YouTube. And one of the things I found the most interesting is the banned or censored Pokemon media. I was like fucking 9. So yeah, I'm not like 49 with crippling debt like most first generation fans. I'm fucking time displaced. My favorite Pokemon was Bulbasaur. I was the black sheep. I remember my family had this clothesbin thing full of a bunch of Pokemon cards. We sold it for like 50 bucks. I'm just saying, if we knew how expensive that would be now, I would not be talking on this website. I would be eating caviar with a silver spoon. Okay, but for real, I learned most of this obscure Pokemon knowledge from J-Wits, a guy who made this series called Pokesens. Yes, it's exactly what you think.
James, it's time to face the music.
And the sexton.
Gaijin Goomba Jesus. This one southern guy with long hair who I literally cannot find anywhere. Please, someone find him. The videos I remember is him talking about Pokemon bootlegs, the Smash ballot, and him counting down the worst things you can name yourself in a game. Please, I want to hear his voice again. Wait, I'll help you. Here's my impression. Instead of Link, he's now called Ass Fucker. Could you imagine Nintendo naming him that? Okay, I hope that helps. Most of this knowledge is from J-Wits, though. I love him so much. He covered some censored Pokemon cards that featured a symbol from 1940 Germany, Muck looking up a girl's skirt, and Naked Misty holding Staryu. Japan, you so cray-cray. He also talked about the Pokemon manga that featured Arbok being cut in half and a lot of more sexualized stuff. Yeah, this is going to be a constant throughout the video. Before I talk about the banned episodes, let me just say they include sex porn, weird creepy old people,
and not wearing pants,
guns, flashing lights. I will try to slow down, but even then, if you have epilepsy or anything like that, just maybe don't. Blackface, and finally 9/11. Yes, 9/11 will be the tamest out of all of those. I'm going to try to talk about them in order of their era and also how bad they are. That's my excuse for why it's all out of order and messy. 2 episodes were banned in America but had an English dub. They are Beauty and the Beach and Tentacool and Tentacruel. That's too many fucking ands. The Tentacruel episode I remember seeing just normally on old Netflix because it eventually got unbanned. But whenever it was set to release, a little known terrorist attack called 9/11 happened. Is there like a Bush Pokemon or something? I have a really good joke. Fucking Bin Laden taking away my fucking Pokemon!
Go fuck yourself, and then go die.
The trio arrived to a place called Porta Vista, and this fucking guy starts trying to warn them about tentacles and shit, but then they fucking explode this boat somehow. It's like Pearl Harbor. What? That's like 16 tragedies in one. They meet this fucker, and I was severely confused on who this was, but that's because it's the identical cousin of a character from Beauty and the Beach, the last banned episode. So basically, you will never get the full story if you don't know about the other banned episode. Nastina, yes, that's it, hires people to kill the Tentacool for doing Pearl Harbor, so Team Rocket shows up to do it. In this world, James is Oppenheimer. I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. But little did Team Rocket know, there's a bunch of them. I love anime explosions so much. Oh yeah, it also somehow causes it to evolve and be like 200 feet tall. What?
This is impossible. Even at its greatest height, a Tentacruel shouldn't be more than 7 feet tall.
Brock also questions this, but the only answer we get is this.
That must be the gang leader.
Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. Why didn't Bin Laden become 200 feet tall when they shot him? Here's the reason it was banned. The whole town is destroyed and the visuals could be slightly reminiscent of 9/11. But honestly, it's just buildings exploding. Who cares? They took it a step further by also holding off on airing the episode Tower of Terror. The only weird thing about this episode is Ash dying and becoming a ghost, but nothing remotely close to 9/11. It was just because of the title. Yeah, Tower of Terror. I mean, it could have been worse. They could have named this episode Watch out for your towers, America. That would have been bad. This episode is just fucking weird and out of place. The Tentacruel uses me out to talk with. It's just weird. There's also usually not this amount of deaths and destruction in this show. It's not really a good episode, but it's definitely funny. I don't think it should have been banned, especially since one shot of Tentacruel destroying a building is literally in the intro. Okay, but then there's this scene where Nastina shoots 2 fucking guns and immediately gets black soot all over their face, which is 2 reasons why other episodes are banned. Okay, maybe this is the worst one. Why did I start with this? Okay, now what's wrong with the episode before this, Beauty and the Beach? What? Well, a lot. It's a lot, man. You could excuse the episode comes off as creepy due to it being the 90s and also the cultural differences between the US and Japan, but even then, it's still way too fucking creepy, and the English dub could have definitely changed some lines to be less fucking insane.
You remind me of my granddaughter.
I regret wanting to cover this.
Not wearing pants.
Also, remember Misty is like 12 throughout this whole thing. Japan, you so cray-cray. The whole episode is just Misty going into a beauty contest to pay for damage they did to a dock or some shit. Is this guy's dock? You don't want to see this guy again, do you? Yeah, this whole episode isn't really salvageable. It's just gross. I can see why it was banned, although the English dub was made for this, so I don't know. I guess 4 kids didn't think it was that bad. And by 4 kids, I mean literally 4 kids. Only 4 people wanted this episode, and they're all sick. Lock them up. Of course I need to mention the reason you clicked on this video. Team Rocket is trying to win the beauty contest because this will somehow get Ash's Pikachu, I guess. This leads to both Jessie and James entering, so it's another installment of James cross-dressing, but this time it's different. Why am I talking about this? James says tits. That's what's happening. I said it. Congrats on the transition. Now, this James inflating tits scene is so controversial that it did not get dubbed, and it was completely cut out of the English version. God damn it! Japan is keeping hot bikini James all to themselves. America, I know the real reason you banned this. James was too hot for TV.
Not wearing pants.
I know it's a completely different country, but what? Let's talk about Jinx. Can I show this? I think a lot of people know this, but Jinx went from black to purple because the original design resembled blackface. If you don't know what blackface is, then look it up. The school system failed you. A similar thing happened to Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball. I'm pretty sure, at least, I think. I keep seeing this image, but it's literally just this image. Eventually, Jinx was changed, but multiple episodes still had the old design. And the most famous banned one was the one all about Jinx. Some of these Pokemon, man, they're getting majorly shafted. Holiday Hijinks is another really weird, out-of-place episode. Santa Claus fucking shows up, and instead of elves, he has Jinx. Yeah, making Jinx be this sort of servant-like thing doesn't help its case. Well, I guess all Pokemon are kind of servant things. It was just never gonna work, because...
Dude, look what it is! Magic Pocket Slave Monsters!
On December 23rd, 2012, the 15th anniversary of the planned release, it was finally aired in Japanese, but with Jinx edited to be purple, so... it's not banned anymore, at least in Japan. Also, apparently Hulu has or had the original version instead of this new recolor. Even though Hulu is like famously the one to remove all episodes of shows that have blackface. Hulu, what kind of shit were you on? Other episodes that were banned are Stage Fight, the Mandarin Island Mismatch, and a Japanese exclusive episode that translates to the Ice Cave. God damn it, Jinx, you made us miss the Ice Cave! These just included small Jinx cameos and were in circulation for a while until 2013. Where they just pretended like they didn't exist. What's really weird is that they made this mistake fucking again. As recent as the Sun and Moon series, they had an episode where Ash painted himself black to look like a Pokemon. How do you do this again? Are you dumb? This was also pulled from airing. How do you not learn your lesson? What were they thinking? Here's James with a fucking gun. Why is James always doing this shit? This is another Japanese exclusive. Surprising. I thought we were the ones who fucking love guns. This is Legend of the Mini Ryu, and it's only the 35th episode of the anime. Barely any of this is spread out, by the way. It's almost exclusively Indigo League. The plot of the episode is the trio discovering Safari Zone, and they find this ranger or supervisor or something. Crazed gunman. Ash notices he has a picture of a Dratini. Apparently Gunfuck found this Dratini and it's really rare or something, so people went crazy trying to find it. And that instantly led to the destruction of the Safari Zone, and now Gunfuck is really sad. And then Team Rocket show up and try and find the Dratini, and hijinks ensue. Ash saves the day or something. I was mentioning it, but yeah, the reason it was banned was because of the use of firearms. And this isn't just one scene. It's like guns everywhere. The whole episode is just people sticking guns in other people's faces. It's hilarious. It's a comedically large amount of scenes of guns for no reason. I don't really need to say this, but it's so out of place to see such realistic violence. Like, it could have just been gunfuck threatening with a big scary nose pass or some shit, but nah, eat lead, you bitch. He straight up tells Ash if he doesn't listen to him, he's gonna shoot him in the head. Ash is like, 10, what the hell is your problem? I love when Team Rocket steal his guns and interrogate gunfuck. James is probably my favorite Pokemon character. You ask me my favorite Pokemon, I say James. So, I'm glad there's official media of him holding a man hostage. And also, as pointed out by multiple people.
Oh yeah, and Meowth is Hitler. That's great.
Meowth is seen in this disguise, even though, like, why is he in disguise? There's usually it's the other two doing that. But it includes this mustache that is, well, it's probably the most famous mustache out there. Very popular in the 1940s. I don't think it's actually supposed to resemble Hitler, but instead like an old detective archetype. Instead, the mustache choice is just very poor. They honestly should have just grabbed this episode and 4Kids did. Color over Meowth's stash and do the Yu-Gi-Oh thing where you replace the guns with people pointing. The final and worst banned episode, as in the worst content that literally affected people in real life, is Computer Warrior Porygon. An episode so legendary, instead of offending people or scarring them with Hot James or whatever, it literally physically hurt them. Imagine Geodude coming out of the TV and fucking your shit up. You've probably already heard of the whole ordeal. It's not really that obscure. This is like the biggest example of fiction literally harming people. You don't even need me to talk about it. Yeah, you know what? I shouldn't talk about it. I mean, first, I don't want it too hard. And second, I don't want to have a fucking seizure. I have to get a Pokemon that's immune to seizures.
Who's that Pokemon?
Where's that fucking lotion?
Yeah, you can survive a seizure.
What is up, my little chast chuddies? Manda uses 90 CGI ape as a replacement for his face here, and I have been blessed with the honor of discussing our final subject for today, which would be... Oh god, I better not get sued for this. My good friend Chaz here has done a great job going over everything thus far. It's time we take our training wheels off and talk about the big boy stuff now. We had an episode with giant inflatable hobknockers and a gun pointed at a 10-year-old's face, but none of these had any actual effect on the real world. Only one episode from the Pokemon anime had an actual detrimental effect on real life, and it's the most infamous one of them all. Electric Soldier Porygon.
Investigations underway in Japan into why more than 600 children suffered from convulsions and vomiting after watching a television cartoon program.
Airing on December 16th, 1997 in Japan, and what a great early Christmas present this was. This episode involved Ash and his friends going inside the Matrix to retrieve a stolen Porygon from Team Rocket, who were using it to steal other Pokemon by traveling through the internet. Yeah, this was during that trope of the late 90s and early 2000s shows, when the characters would go into the internet and it's all futuristic and high-tech. If they only knew back then, we would later use this future technology to scream at people with different opinions than ours. Yeah, I can go on and on about the plot of the episode, but we're not here for that, are we? We're here for a rave. Near the end of the episode, Ash and his friends get missiles fired at them, only for Pikachu to jump in and save them. So instead of hurting Ash and his friends, he hurts everyone watching instead. And this is why the episode lives in infamy. This scene right here. This scene caused over 500 Japanese children to be hospitalized due to seizures, headaches, and migraines. I'm not epileptic, but this is still hard to look at. And besides, the shades cover my eyes. Okay. When this episode aired, it was headline news. It was all over the place. The Pokemon Company had to come out and make an official apology, and the episode was pulled from syndication, and it has never been seen again. The controversy was called Pokemon Shock. The show went on hiatus for over 4 months because of it, and an official English dub of the episode was supposedly made, but it has never seen the light of day. This event was even parodied in a bunch of American cartoons around the time, but this is also because this had an impact on the entire animation industry as a whole. Everyone in the animation industry was now terrified of the notion of giving kids seizures, so now everything is vetted to make sure nothing like this ever happens again. Here's Maxwell Adams, the creator of Billy and Mandy, and he states here, everything now goes through what they call the machine, something that flags the shows they're making and if there are any scenes that could potentially cause seizures, and a version of this is still being used on every cartoon to this day. The impact this godforsaken episode made is still being felt 26 years later. And the most baffling thing about this episode is the fact because of it, Porygon has never had a major role in the series ever again. He has been reduced to small cameos and mentions, and nothing else. But if you don't remember, Porygon is the one who caused the seizures. That was Pikachu. Pikachu was the one who caused that whole controversy, and how's he doing? Oh right, he's damn everywhere you look. Porygon took the fall, so Pikachu became a sellout and a cultural icon. Pikachu got away with causing mass seizures in Japan, and nobody bats an eye. What a world we live in. There you go, Chaz. I covered the episode you couldn't. I had these awesome shades, and now I'm completely fine. I'll be expecting my check in the mail. Magic Mush is out of here.
Oh, are the seizures gone yet? Oh, okay, good. Time to drop them in a PC and forget about it for years. And that's the story of how a famous media franchise for kids offended thousands and sent people to the hospital.
That wasn't so hot.
A lot of the content in these could be explained away for that reason, but some things, not so much. Like the flashing lights were probably a mistake. I'm not one for banning or censoring media, but hey, they're still out there. None of it is lost, and I'm glad they didn't get released for kids to see, except the 9/11 ones. That was tame as hell. Please show that to your kids. The Pokemon anime has a tendency to change stuff for different regional releases. Some understandable stuff, and some stupid stuff, like changing some Japanese holidays to more unspecific holidays, and most famously, censoring rice balls to a sandwich. And Brock's famous
Jelly-filled are my favorite. Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
Brock, I trusted you as a man of reason. Yeah, not much to say about these that I didn't already say. I know I'm not the biggest Pokemon expert, and I don't know what the fuck this thing is, but hey, I'm familiar with the anime, and I still find this to be some of the strangest and funniest banned media, not even from Nintendo, but just from anything. And except for the Porygon episode, I don't see much about these anymore. Like, most videos about them are years and years old, and I think people should know about them, because seriously, what the fuck, James Team Rocket just pulled out a goddamn gun. Aw man, time to enjoy these nice pretzels on the floor. Hey Meows, those are mine, ha ha ha. Oh fuck, Meow took my